All right, greetings. Good evening. How are you doing, Delroy?
Well, tonight we dub
Good
it.
evening, Sophia.
Hi, Wade. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. Good to see you.
Well,
Good to see you too.
I can see I'm no strangers. So guess what?
No, we're not.
We dub. we dub tonight. We dub tonight. Triple tree. And it's a reason why we call it triple tree. Because Sophia is right in the middle of us. And this is how I'm going to introduce tonight's show. Go ahead, Alexi.
There we go.
You can't tell me nothing, right? Excuse me, was you saying something? You can't tell me nothing. You can't tell me nothing. You can't tell me nothing. Let up the suicide dog.
Okay.
Hey.
True.
I get my money right.
You know, set the vibe.
Exactly. So, you know that if you're not moving online at this time, going digital, something wrong. And if you don't have the right accounting after you go digital and expand, something wrong again. So guess what? So introduce yourself, and then we introduce yourself, and then we're going to go right into it for the 30 minutes.
Okay, great. Sounds good. All right, so for those of you who don't know who I am, I'm Sophia Harris, founder and chief consultant at Lau Global Consulting. Please follow me on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube.
Right away. Right away.
Right?
Go follow.
Website, lauglobalconsulting.com. You can check out all of our services. We offer every single thing, all the key revenue generating and business development services to build your digital business and your digital marketing. So that's what I'm doing now. I can't go into my history because it's kind of long, but my entire profile is on the website.
Go follow.
On to you, Wayne.
Go follow. Go follow. Yes, Wayne.
Okay, good evening, everyone. I'm Wayne Strachan, senior partner in the firm Baker Tilly, Strachan Lafayette. We're an accounting firm. We're a member of the Baker Tilly International, ranked number 9th worldwide. We have 3 partners. We have approximately 60 employees, and we provide all business services, both small, medium-sized enterprises. That's it. Go to our website. You'll find more details on me, but I don't think we have time to go through the resume tonight.
And I can vouch for them. They're very good.
Well,
thank you.
Well, the format of an entertaining show is pretty simple. You follow the page, you follow the writings, you follow the comments, and you take it as we go along. And I want to say that tonight we are sponsored by JC Body Works, all the way here in South Florida. But I won't get into that. You can go to the page again and follow. So we come, yeah, man. So we take it. We actually have a
You sound international, Delroy.
You know, man, it's like international sponsors.
Well, the truth is, you know, we have to mix up the thing. We have to mix it up, and we have to show the entrepreneurs and those who want to get ahead in business. There are many ways to do it, but you have to do it right. So you understand what I'm saying? So what happens is that the topic is straightforward. If they're saying that you have to go, the advantages of doing digital marketing, and then when you get there, how we're going to show that you must keep records, accounting records, pay your taxes and stuff. So Sophie, some key reasons why we must go online in the digital age.
Okay, well, there's so many reasons. So let me keep this as pointed as possible. The pandemic has accelerated the adoption of digital technologies. And so I like to say that, and I'm not the only one, it's now a trending school of thought that every business is a digital business. And so whether you're a digital business today or you're en route, you should be adopting technology-empowered solutions and digitalization or digitization in order to empower your business with the latest software, something as simple as a website, Salesforce, You know, anything that makes communication within your organization and with your supply chain, your stakeholders, a lot more integrated and seamless. Because what this pandemic has done is it has accelerated and forced a separation, physical, where we have to connect remotely. So you find that if you're, you know, we're no longer doing as many business trips. We're doing a lot more Zoom and WebEx and Teams. And that adoption has saved companies a lot of money, and they've made a lot of investment in technology and solution and software. That kind of investment is not something they're going to abandon post-pandemic. So a lot of these new practices that are now commonplace internationally are going to be pervasive post-pandemic. So you have to be investing in these things. A basic example, if your suppliers are now more inclined to place orders from your website, and because of their new systems or efficiencies, that's their preferred way of engaging their buyers, and you are not operating on that same wavelength, then they're going to find another buyer that's going to meet their level of efficiency. It's the same thing with customers. If your customer, whether it be, and I tell people all the time, have you developed your target persona? Have you sketched out who you're targeting, what they look like, what their preferences are? And if you have, then have you envisioned post-pandemic what their behaviors are going to be like? And so let's do a scenario where your target consumer is now 50%, 70% of the time going to be ordering online. Are you facilitating your products and services via a website that is trusted for them to conduct commercial transactions in a way that they feel secure? Are you offering payment options that your competitors are offering? If not, they're going to say, thank you, but no thank you. I'm going to move on to your global competitor. Because now that every business is a digital business, you're now competing with every other company across the globe democratic company across the globe that offers the same or similar products and services as you do. And now that the market barriers have become blurred, new products are entering your market sphere. So you have to be paying attention to the new borders of your market. Who is selling in your space? Who are your new target consumers? And so I say this to say, you have to be aligned with what everyone else is doing. So the software, the website, the apps, you know, communicating via email. Those of us who thought we could take 10 days to respond to an email and continue along that line, it's not going to work, because the modern buyer, the modern consumer needs an immediate response. So even our communication style has to be faster. So yes.
I back you up 100% on that, because the company that I represent, or I lead, we just now going mobile application for loans. We were never there before, right? And effective tomorrow, so to speak, you can start a mobile app and apply for your loan. So it is a fact, if you're not getting online and digital, you will be left behind. There's no if not.
Yeah, but not only that, your competitors are going to start entering your market from other places in the world, because they're going to see a vulnerability in the market. And once they come in with their convenient, seamless, frictionless experience, and you're sitting down there still writing things down on paper and taking 5 years to get back to people, no follow-up, no efficiency, you're going to lose your customer base to a new world of competitors. And so the digital, the software, the technology, and of course, now I speak to the digital marketing, where if you're not relevant and putting your new value proposition in the face of the consumer, right where they are, on their mobile devices, on their laptops, on their tablets, on their smart TVs, if you aren't where their attention is. And as I was saying to you recently on a call, Delroy, the data now says it takes 7 impressions for a consumer who is being bombarded with information constantly to even remember the content of your post. So you need specialists. You need people who not only understand the latest trends, but they can tell you what should be in your reports. They can make sure that you're tracking the right metrics that align with your bottom line and your objectives, and make sure that you're iterating and changing rapidly with the changing data, the changing privacy settings on phones, everything that's happening. So let me stop now so Wayne can talk.
But I have one thing to ask you, Sophie, before Wayne comes in. So whether you have already an established company, you're an entrepreneur thinking of getting into business, you must be thinking digital as one means. If it's even for your products to be out there on the social media pages, if it's even that, if it's even a social media page, you need.
I tell people all the time, for example, LGC, we meet the business where you're at. Okay. So if you are a startup, we talk about the fundamentals. I tell people, the people that you hire as a startup are your co-founders. They are your cultural co-founders. So they need to have an agile mindset in order to build an agile and responsive business. So if you're bringing on people who take 10 days to respond to an email, who are adverse to change, then you're creating a culture that is adverse to change and unresponsive. So it's your recruitment strategy. It's your business model. Is your model one that can pivot on a dime, like Airbnb, that I spoke about in one of my videos recently? They are a marketplace. They own no physical property. So because of that, they were able to successfully pivot and launch an IPO in the middle of a pandemic, because they could easily shift their model, their value proposition in alignment with new preferences. So you start off being agile, and that way you can plug in, remove technologies as needed as the consumer's preferences change. And so you start with that, and then also your messaging must be something that can be issued across all platforms uniformly. So you can't have a message that is one way in the printed press, it's another way on social media. When people call your office, them tell them something else. You must have a buy-in and a uniform messaging, which is why we talk about strategic communication. Consistency in the messaging. All right. Yes.
So Wayne, right away, we have two takeaways from Sophie. You must be consistent in your messaging, and you must have an agile mindset. Now, with all of that in the cake, how are you going to make sure that the cake is a well-baked cake, Wayne, from a compliant accounting taxation standpoint? And Sophie, in the meantime, you can just run down and scroll through to see if there are comments for us to take, because that's what we normally do. And then Wayne, the usual, there's comments we take them. So, again.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Sophie. A very good presentation. So like business is up and off the ground and running. But before the business shoot through the gate, you need an accountant.
That's right.
You need an accountant. Now, when you register the business, right? And I'm assuming the business would have been registered at the Companies Office of Jamaica, right? And I'm going to assume it could be a limited liability company, or it could be a business name. You're going to get a certificate of incorporation. You'll get a TRN. You'll get a TCC. And you need to apply for a letter of good standings. All of these are very important. You can't get anywhere without these four main items that I just mentioned.
But
now,
Wayne, sorry. I just had a customer last week that said they're running a business for the last 15 years. And I said, okay, what's the name of the business? And they said, John Roots. And I said, okay, can I see the papers? And they said, no. I said, but you don't register not in the name? And they said, register the name? No. I said, but do you know you have the name? Do you have labels? Yes, I have labels. But do you own the name? They couldn't really tell me if they have the name. So it is very important when you talk about how do you own the name. Thank you.
Very important. In fact, if someone was to go ahead and register that name, that person would be the legal ownership of that name. So it's so important when you get the business off the ground that you go and register the company. All right. Okay. Now, the banks, you're going to need bank accounts in order to function. And especially in this time, in this pandemic, when you have digital, most of what is happening is virtual. Banks are not accepting deposit anymore. You're going to have online banking, internet banking. You need debit and credit card. You you must have functional bank accounts. Now, when you walk into the bank, and this is a major issue that I have with some clients that will come to me, right? They're ready, they set up the company, and they're trading, but they don't have any formal banking arrangement. And then they go to the bank and want to borrow a loan, and the bank would say, I need a tax compliance certificate. They don't know where to turn.
Yes.
All right? So they go to the bank is going to ask for these things, right? They're going to ask for the certificate of incorporation, your tax compliance certificate, your TRN, and letter of good standing. Most of the times, these people who open the companies just file away these documents. And it's until when they need it that they realize that it's expired. All right? So these are very important. Then the bank is going to ask you for cash flow projections. You need an accountant. Normally, they ask you for an opening balance sheet. You must have a seal for your company. That seal must be maintained by your company secretary. Very important. So all of these are important features that you must have, and you're going to need them in order to walk into any bank to open a bank account. Normally, the cash flow projections is normally for 12 months, but I'll say to any business operator, get a properly done projections, 3 years at least. So you actually know where you're going. You know, you have a roadmap. This is what the income will be month by month for the next 36 months. These are your projected expenses, and this you're in business to make a profit. And therefore, you must show positive cash flow, even up to 24 months, right? Okay. After that, you would need to walk into the tax office and register your business for taxes. You must register for GCT. You're going to register for payroll taxes so that you can actually deduct NIS, NHT, ed tax on behalf of your employees. Very important, because you're in...
Wayne.
Yes,
there are some companies that don't take deduction or take NHT and those things. You are saying that those employees are at a disadvantage?
Yes, so those employees would be at a disadvantage. They won't be able to access benefit from NHT. Neither will they be able to have any future benefits from NIS. And so
Wayne. Take away from Wayne, the accountant, the chartered accountant expert. It's check your employer tomorrow if they are making payment on your behalf at NHT, because every man wants a house, especially in Jamaica. I know you're in South Florida. Here in South Florida, it's pretty easy. And as I say, in South Florida, I'm being sponsored tonight by JC, Body by JC. You can find them on Instagram. But just continue now, Wayne, and remember, follow them. Here's a comment. Well, okay, continue.
Yes. So it's very important if you're contributing to NHT, especially in these times where the HAJ building houses, NHT going on a drive to build 70,000 houses, and you must be a contributor and must be able to access that $6.5 million. All right, just point to note that even though you register for GCT as a small entity, if your turnover is less than $10 million, you don't need to file returns. All right?
Okay.
So you need to register. Once you reach a point where you think your annual turnover will exceed 10 million, then you inform TAJ and you'll start to file returns, actually charging GCT, collecting it, and paying it over to the revenue. All right. The next thing I want to look at is a business plan. A lot of persons go into business.
Wayne, before you move to the business plan.
That Wayne's accounting firm to do the projections.
All right. Yes, they're right. So you need the business plan. Especially now, you don't want to invest your money and lose it. See, the business plan, it's going to tell you exactly what you're going to do, how you're going to invest this money, and how you're going to make money. It will tell you whether you will lose money as well. And if you do the business plan and it shows that you're going to lose money, then you can make a decision whether you're going to proceed. The business plan...
Or you have enough time. You have enough time to tweak.
You have enough time to juggle around, change your assumptions, look at the modeling, maybe look at the method of financing, maybe you go for more equity than debt. Those type of things, you know.
And let me just interject real quick right there. I can tell you that one of the other benefits of having a business plan is that when you go through the process of documenting your vision and look at the pros, the cons, and the numbers, it can really change the direction that you choose to go in.
Yes.
For me, it helped me identify the higher revenue potential areas. And it was good for potential partners to see my plan. So I love that you brought that up.
Yes.
Fantastic.
In fact, I must tell you, I did a business plan recently for a client of mine. And after we did the plan and delivered it, they put a pause on the project.
Yes.
And I realized that it's going to take too long before they turn it into profits. And they're going to decide whether to tweak it or whether to abandon the project. Very important.
Absolutely.
Followers following tonight. Wayne is an expert in mergers, acquisitions. I can tell you.
Oh, yes. Yes. And can I tell you that this is one of the global trends right now? It's mergers and acquisitions. So Wayne is the go-to guy, and I can help you with your strategic plan that can include an M&A, right?
I like that, Sophia.
That it is big, big, big in beauty, in media, streaming, globally. Big topic.
I'm going to definitely tap into your resources because I need a lot of support.
Wayne, you have to carry me as a partner and the Sophie transaction because we have done acquisition and mergers together. So I'm not going to let you leave me out. Guys,
right.
share the live. Share the live. Somebody else needs to be informed on all the things that you're speaking about. Just share it with one person. Share it with one person. We have young entrepreneurs. We have young entrepreneurs out there. We want to get into business. The persons are scared of making the first move. We want you to get going as businesses. So come on.
Yeah, and the thing is, in a lot of companies, small companies have been failing because they were not prepared for this pandemic. So they're merging, they're looking, they're selling, or they're finding strategic partnerships. And I've actually worked on several M&As locally and within the Caribbean recently. So I know that we are aligned with global trends where you see the Disney's buying up the big media companies and all the beauty people merging and the luxury brands. It's happening in the Caribbean also. Because instead of just allowing your dream to die, it's better to look at options where you can still exist, the management can still, you can still keep your employees gainfully employed without having to close the business.
Yes. All right, Sanjay, we will definitely save the live because I'm telling you, you will get pieces of it. And remember, we will have it on the YouTube channel as well. Thank you. It's Joel. Thanks. Welcome, as a matter of fact. And for guys, for you joining Money Matters, Sophie and Wayne for the very first time, we are happy to have you coming to you live from Somerset Cove in South Florida.
You see all who can travel. All who can go on plane. It's all right, Wayne.
Yes.
It's all right, Delroy. All who can travel in a pandemic.
Look, it's all about diversification. That's all.
Yes, that's another trend too. It's another trend. This diversification and inclusivity is another global trend. And if you see recently where Rihanna was named another self-made billionaire, a lot of people are attributing that to her inclusive and diverse nature of her products and her marketing. So people starting businesses, I highly recommend you start and approach your products and services in a very inclusive and diverse perspective.
No, repeat, please.
People who are starting your businesses or looking to expand, approach your strategic plan, your pivot, and your business plan from a diverse and inclusive perspective, which means more women on your board. I'm available to join committees, right? More women. No, women in the Caribbean are what, 10% of the C-suite? That's ridiculous. I can consult and be on your board. But you need more diversity at your boards, on your committees, at the senior levels of management, because it gives you different perspectives, different backgrounds. And people who are buying stocks are looking for companies that are more diverse, inclusive, and eco-society friendly.
Yeah. You know, that is true. My board is 5, and there are 2 females. Need I say no more? It's 5.
No, Sophia, I endorse that. I endorse that. And trust me, these females come with a different perspective. Sometimes women think a certain way. And when you listen to the females and their idea and their creativity, you say, wow. So
no,
I
and
endorse.
I think there's room for everybody.
Yes.
I just feel like there's room for more of us.
But you know, Sophia, that is going to change very, very soon. Landscape.
I think I can say that
below the board level, you know, Sophia, they're going to take over soon, very shortly.
Hey, I'm all for equal opportunity, not dominance, because you know, without the males, how can life go on? So
I love that.
Everybody needs a seat at the table, but there needs to be more. There needs to be more different looks, feels, backgrounds, perspectives, because it gives you a more comprehensive view of everything. And women tend to be a lot more. I don't want to say more organized, but we tend to be a little bit more efficient.
Wayne, you can take this comment. I think you can take that comment. You can stroll up and take that comment.
Yes. Hold on. Where is it? On getting the process started, it was brought to the fore that employers did not pay over that which was deducted. How can we verify that this isn't being done? And this is a very, very, this is a situation that happens frequently where employers deduct the taxes from the employee, and for some reason, one reason or another, they fail to pay it over. You could call the National Housing Trust.
Okay.
Give them your TRN and just find out if your deductions are up to date.
Yes, because a lot of companies do that, you know, and that's something that I've witnessed myself. They do not pay the returns, the statutory returns for the staff, and they don't tell them. And
it's a very serious matter. That is a very serious matter.
So advice, check the NHT. Just call NHT in the morning. You want to know the status of your deduction.
Give them your TRN, your NIS number, and the name of your employer, and they can tell you the status of your deductions.
Thank you.
Yes.
As I said, welcome everyone that is on this live. We are happy for your comment. You know, you can follow Wayne, follow Sophia, and you're naturally going to follow Money Matters. And you're going to click on the page,
naturally,
know your Money Matters, and get other content. Yes. So
can I mention something? As you mentioned that, Wayne, and you talk about NHT, I'm liking the direction that the government is going, and even the banks with a more digital approach. What I would love to see is a greater leap of the government services in particular, because it's still unfortunate you still have to physically go in to a tax office who some days say they're not taking anybody, right? To conduct certain transactions that could easily be done and has easily been done across the globe and other countries online, where there are many ways to verify someone's identity without them physically coming in. You know?
Yes, I endorse that. The tax office has come a far, far away. The GCT returns are now being filed electronically. Directors' returns, SO4 income tax returns for personal and individual are being filed electronically. The SO1, which is the payroll taxes, those are filed electronically. And you can pay electronically as well using credit card. But still, there are a lot of services that you have to go in physically, unfortunately.
Can I ask you a question that I know that I, for one, went through with an accountant when I was doing my first set of returns for LGC, right? And I got so many conflicting guidance on this. So I'm going to ask you, just for the business owners who are watching.
Yes.
What are the deadlines for you to file what returns and what are the penalties, right? Because an accountant will tell you, oh, you have until March to file for the previous year. And when you go and pay TCC, they tell you, no, until you pay up for 2020 or whatever, you can't even look at us for a TCC.
Yes. March 15 is the deadline to file all income tax returns, both personal and individual. We still believe that that deadline, they should separate the individual from the company, but that's a different matter. But March 15th is the deadline, and it is the March 15th following the year end of your company. If you do not file those returns on time, there's a $5,000 penalty per month that is imposed for every month that your return is late. And then there's interest on the income tax, which is somewhere in the region of about 17 to 18%. And there's penalty as well. And that is serious penalty. In fact, the PAYE penalty, interest and penalty on PAYE is so onerous. It's not something that you want to delay paying. Okay. In fact, when you look at the interest and penalty on those statutory, it even makes more sense to, if you do not have the cash flow, to borrow from a financial institution and go and pay it over.
Wow.
Come and check.
Because you know, so many companies, so many small business owners get themselves into serious trouble by thinking, oh, I have time.
Yes, and they pay it last. No. You're busy.
Probably they can check my financial services tomorrow morning. And we can figure it out.
Oh, you want a loan. Oh.
You never can
returns. I know you run out of time. GCT return is due 30 days after the due date every month. And then the statutory, which is the payroll taxes, is due the 14th of the following month. All right?
Mr. Robbie, they say that the P24 will assist in knowing about your deduction.
Yes, I agree. And you can request it at the end of each year as well.
Okay.
But you still, if the question though was the NHT was to find out if your deductions are being paid over. Sometimes you want to just check that if you don't.
True. So you want to take this one? You want to take this one as the last question?
Sure.
Awesome. Can you read it for me, because it's barely showing on my screen?
More 12. How soon after you start a business should one think to register your business? Oh, you should register.
Oh,
all right.
Oh man, okay. that is in the reverse.
Okay, so I can start it and let Wayne finish it, because it really is a Wayne question. But what I will say is strategically, right? Strategically, the steps for me are: you start off with your concept, you do your business plan, right? You contact a Wayne, get your projections, look at your pros and cons. You can talk to me for strategy, and you plot out and chart your way forward. Then when you think that you're ready to go, because some people quit their jobs and don't even know where the first 6 to 12 months of revenue are going to come from, thinking that the business is going to be there. But it's not going to just be there. Many people have reached out to me across the Caribbean, and I've said to them, always have at least 6 to 12 months of money to cover your overheads before you quit your job or go full force into a new business venture, because you don't know if a pandemic or some kind of global disruption is going to just throw your strategy and your vision out the window. So you have your plan, your sound projections, financials, you have some money, and then the first thing you do after that is to register your business, whether as a sole proprietorship or a limited liability, depending on your mid to long-term objectives. So if you know that you're taking the slow path,
yeah,
you're not going to be going for no big projects, and then you should probably start off, if your revenue is limited, you don't have the big money to pay the accountants. To register the sole proprietorship, you might want to start there until the revenue starts to come in, and immediately, as soon as you can, I would recommend a limited liability, because it does limit your liability.
Yeah, that's the key.
And so forth.
The key is you don't have to start.
I'm big on intellectual property rights. Trademark your stuff. Marcus Goff is a friend of mine at the Jaipur office. It's a very seamless experience. Delroy knows I have trademarked 1,000,001 logos and brands. And so it's always good, because a lot of people will not negotiate with you if you don't own rights to certain things,
Yes.
Okay.
But
very good, very well, very good, very good.
And before you continue, I back up Sophie. I want to say that is the perfect way, Sophie. If you are unsure of the route you want to take, just register as a sole proprietor. You keep it simple, but at least you have a business name, you have a legal name to go off with, and then them can check. We know
Yes, no, check in for that, you know, because what happens is a good accountant will help to guide you to the right way to do things. Like, for example, for me, I had someone that was hand-holding me, not only through the beginning or the registration, but also to say, listen, you have to go pay those taxes, you know, because you're YTCC.
Yes.
So I was like, when, because I have to put it down. You know how the cash flow thing goes. You have to put it down because you want to pay it.
Definitely.
You don't want to be caught like the people who, when I hear these stories, these nightmares of them owing 5-10 years in back taxes and on payment plan that go into perpetuity, and a hole that they can't come out of, you know, and then they need the TCC to bid on this RFP and they can't get it, and you know. So I wanted to talk to somebody the entire way, not just to get my numbers right, but also to help me, guide me as to Sophie. Make sure you put it down because January 1, right?
Yes.
So,
and the worst thing you can have is a company that you have started, and you've started off so badly with all these outstanding taxes, but you have a very good brand. You have a very good name. You can't go ahead and just shut that down because you're going to lose all your intellectual capital, your intellectual property, your brand, everything, marketing, your logos. And so it is very important to get it right.
And I want to say something before we wrap. In any business plan, you must have one thing, which is an exit strategy. And that exit strategy don't mean you're going to dump the business. You can sell the business. You can check Wayne and myself to diversify the business.
You can check Delroy.
Merge it.
You can check Delroy. You can check Delroy.
You get on the market. It's going straight to the market.
Welcome. We welcome everybody. Remember, this is Sophie. This is Wayne. Tell them your pages again. They go follow. And just a quick comment because we have to end. We have to end. It's getting cold over here. So
yes. All right. Well, let me say that when you're in a crisis, right? When you're in a crisis, sometimes you don't have to just quit. You don't have to just give up and lose everything. Sometimes what you can do is pivot, develop a new strategy, and work your way through with looking at facts and data and details, and talk to experts, talk to people who can help you find a solution. So you don't have to lay off hundreds, dozens of people, and you don't have to give up on the dream. So I would say there's always a way, you know, there's always a way. Don't get into analysis paralysis either, you know? So I'm at lauglobalconsulting.com, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. Please follow me and reach out to us anytime.
And I want to add to what you say about layoff. During the pandemic, our company did not lay off one person. We made some changes in salaries, but we did not lay off anyone, and we were happy because that allowed us to be still marketable, that we could have merged or be taken on in partnership with another entity. Need I say this more? In your final.
I must say the same as well, that our company, Baker Tilly, have employed at least 15% increase in our staff complement during this pandemic. It means that the pandemic is not always necessarily, I mean, when you're going through this pandemic, you can reorganize your business in a way. If you see where the direction of the market is moving, then you sort of change gear, you know. If you need to change the service line in which you're going into, whatever the market is going for, you can reorganize your business, manage your costs, manage your revenue to stay afloat, because there will be life after this pandemic.
All of that happened. All of that happened, Wayne, because there is some plan. The plan don't have to be a 30-page plan. It could be a 2-page, and all you do, you look at it and tweak. But if you have nothing,
modify.
You will be confused and you will give up.
Definitely. And I just want to add that our firm, we provide audit, we provide taxation, business assurance services, register company. If you want to deregister, we assist you with that. Business valuation, business plans, just about all the business services that you can ever need. And our firm is Baker Tilly, Strachan Lafayette. We trade at Baker Tilly. I'm a partner in the firm. I have two other partners, Emily Lafayette and Roxana Terrell. We have 60 wonderful employees, and we provide all the service that you can ever need. Our website is www.bakertilly.com.jm.
Well, tonight we were joined around the globe, from Africa, from Trinidad, from Canada, from USA, and Jamaica, of course. So I want to say, all persons that were on tonight, we will see you next week, Monday night, for another entertaining night from Money Matters Monday. Follow Wayne, follow Sophie, and no, not you know to follow Money Matters already. Thanks, guys. You're coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Delroy. And Sophia, we'll definitely be in touch.
Yes, please. Yes, I think we can do great things together.
I am in the middle. I am in the middle.
Yeah, but you're supposed to link me too, don't forget.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, man.
Bye. Thank you.
Respect. Bye-bye.